soon after we had our child, she passed away in a car accident.
Right.
This is going to be the challenge for me not to cry. Now I'm at this point in my life where I am, I went from losing my dad to, oh my God, my dream came true. I got a record deal, to losing the record deal, feeling like, oh, what I've dreamed and wished and hoped for my whole life is so fleeting and can just go away so quickly, to I'm a dad now. Oh my God, this is beautiful. I'm so excited. This incredible mother and mother of my child and just beautiful person was taken so soon and so early. And now I'm a single dad. What the is life doing to me right now?
Life be lifing, and sometimes it forces you to build in front of the world. Today's guest is someone who knows exactly what that feels like.
Oh, really?
I'm joined by my business partner and one of my best friends, Eric Benét. Yay!
One of your best friends. The fuck?
Eric Benét is Grammy-nominated R&B singer, songwriter that spans decades. Actually,
What?
how many Grammys have you been nominated for?
Okay, first we got to give credit to where credit's due. None of that would have been possible if it wasn't for this young siren sitting to my left, because she gave me my first, my second, and third record deal.
Mm-hmm. And now we're business partners.
Now, well, I did kind of get the money for the third.
Yeah, you did. You saved me.
Yeah.
See how that goes? Most people don't understand that after 30 years in this business, going back and forth, helping, like, I can't name another artist, and I'm not saying I don't know, who's come in and said, hey, we started together. And now I have the ability to help you. I want to come back and help you. And I'm not going to say that I'm jumping up and down about it, because I was out of the business. And it's like the mafia. You pulled me back in, and I'm back in it. But I got a surprise for you, too, about the business. But we'll get into
Okay.
that later.
Mhm.
But yeah, we've had 30 years together really carving out this business. And over the years, you've built this amazing catalog. You've collaborated with some of the best artists in the business, singers in the business. But this journey hasn't always been about success. It's
Right?
also been about public scrutiny,
Mm-hmm.
personal challenges,
Had
and the
that.
reality of having to rebuild in front of the public and constantly evolving.
It's weird.
What I respect about you, Eric,
You
is your
respect something about me?
not much.
Okay.
Is your talent, but also you're an amazing human.
Thank you.
And that's what I tell people most about you. And I'm going to start getting all emotional, but it's true. You're such a good person.
Thank you.
And it's really hard in this business. There are good people in the business, but it's hard to have that connection for so long. You know what I mean? And the other thing I respect about you is your resilience. And that's what this show is about.
I love it.
Out of the Fire is about resilience and reinventing and never giving up. And today, I don't want to really just talk about the music. I want to talk about our next chapter as business partners, building and shaping what's next. So today, we're not just talking about music.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about resilience, our next chapter, how you keep going,
Mm-hmm.
how when things are difficult that you look at it and you really dig deep, and the tools you use to dig deep to get to that next level.
Yeah.
And that's what Out of the Fire is about.
Well, I think that it doesn't really matter what the industry is, what the profession is. The music industry, as it relates to what you just said, that could be interchangeable with any industry. It's all about resilience. It's all about willing to admit when you're wrong, knowing that you're not always right, being humble enough to say, I fucked up. Let me fall back, figure out how to, everything that I need to learn from this experience, let me learn it so that when I step up to bat again, um, I'm equipped. I'm equipped. And I think that starts the resilience. First, has to start within yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all also about the people that you surround yourself with. those people are a mirror to your soul. And you have been like that constant in my life. It's like you said in that intro, it's so rare for an artist. Uh, think of all of the trends that have come and gone since the damn 90s, the early 90s.
Right. I know
But
we've been doing
through
this.
it all, like you and I have been friends. Like you gave me my first record deal, second record deal, and there was a period there where I was just doing my own thing and going through my own life challenges, and it's really just, yeah, like I said, it's about having at least one good person in your life that can tell you the truth, that you can lean on when you need to. And yeah, you've been one of the top 3 people in my life constantly. So
Oh,
that's
thank you.
important.
Thank you. Let's jump into something. Let's talk about some of your challenges
Hmm.
because this
I have no
podcast.
challenges. I'm practically perfect in every damn way. I'm
No, but
Eric Benet.
the thing of it is you've had a lot of challenges
I
that I
have.
know, but honestly, you stay consistent. So let's talk about early challenges. Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about. I really want to get into name one thing in your life
Mm-hmm.
that you didn't know you were going to bounce back from.
Whew. Yeah, now you're gonna get me crying. I well, the first thing, one of the biggest challenges in my life was just being what I felt like was a kid. Men, we're not really emotionally mature until we're, what time is it? 50. And so
Yeah.
I was just really 22, 20, 20, yeah, 22 years old, and I lost my dad.
Hmm.
And dad was in his own way, because I had one of those strong black fathers who wasn't emotionally accessible to me.
Hmm. Your
He,
father was a
he
policeman.
was he was a detective for the city of Milwaukee for
Wow.
25 years.
Wow.
Racist ass Milwaukee.
Wow.
And so dad was from Mobile, Alabama. So he was born in the 30s, grew up in Jim Crow ass Alabama. And so his perspective of life, especially when it came to being a black man and raising a black man, was pretty unique. My dad he was very cultured. Like he had an extensive, like, classical music collection, and he wanted to be a doctor,
Mm.
but it wasn't as readily accessible for him at that time. And so when I lost my dad, he was kind of like my, um, how would I say, my desire to my motivation to impress my anchor,
Mhm,
you
mhm.
know? And it's funny because I never really got that uh appreciation from him, though. As a young black boy, you want to impress dad, like just one time,
Right,
just to get dad to say, "Hey, come here. I'm proud of you."
right.
Which the only time I ever really got that is when I wrote a song,
Wow.
and he listened to the song.
What was the name of the song?
You're gonna laugh.
I've never heard
It
this
was
story.
called Gina.
Oh, I remember
Yeah, you
Gina.
know Gina.
Yes, I remember Gina.
So my dad, in his very
Always about a girl. Oh, sorry.
yeah, it's always about a girl. My dad, in his very hardly using very many words to express anything, I was like, "Dad, I want you to hear something," and he listened to it. He was like, "Hmm, yeah, that's you singing. Okay, okay." And he said, "That's really good."
Wow.
Yeah, and blew me away. So losing my dad, that was a huge part of my motivation. Um, that was one of the first, like, major challenges in my life, where it's like, okay, I feel like now I'm doing this life thing without an anchor.
Right.
And mom is is the personification of love, unconditional love.
Right.
Mom would praise me every 3 minutes.
Right.
Mom was just like, "Oh, my baby Eric, come here." So I'm grateful that I had that, but it was from Dad that I
Right.
always wanted it, never really got. So yeah, that was hard. So I felt like for a while there, I felt like I was rudderless.
Well, it's interesting. I've lost both my parents, and you've lost both your parents. And I think it's really important. I'm trying not to get emotional that when you're close to your parents, like both of us were really close to our
Mm-hmm.
parents,
Mm-hmm.
you lost your father a lot younger, you feel like an orphan.
Yes.
You feel like your anchor or your foundation is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to figure out that grounding again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting to hear you say that because I think I met you after your
Yeah,
dad
you
passed.
you met me right after my dad passed. I remember being in the band Gerard.
Yep.
I was in the band Gerard, and actually, shit, I think I was 22.
Well,
When
he
Dad,
must have just passed then.
yeah,
I didn't even
exactly.
know
He
that.
just
Okay.
he just passed.
Okay.
And then look at God. And
Yeah.
then you came into my life.
Well, it's interesting that, I'm also a firm believer, and the part we're going to get into the show is really about, I believe that our ancestors
Woo!
help us. And we'll get
Oh,
more into that in a different show with a
Mhm.
specialist. But I really do believe when your parents pass over,
Mm-hmm.
that they really do help you if you ask for help. So it's funny
I
that,
strongly believe that.
yeah, it's interesting that your dad passed away and then you were propelled into your career.
My dream came
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
really interesting. I've never heard you talk about that, but that's super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about your second most challenging life event. I already know what
Man,
that is,
yeah,
but
you know what that is. You got the whole chronological order down. So, hey, lost my dad. I'm trying to figure out myself and life, and like you said, you feel like you're an orphan. But I knew that music was my beacon. The constant thing the one thing that I could do that was effortless, but also fed me. Um, And then I met Alison Ball, and my sister and we got a record deal.
Mhm.
And as first record deals go, and you not having any real power at EMI at the time.
No, we
Uh,
were all kids just
we were all kids
thinking we were important.
thinking we were important. We got dropped, and by this time, Eric was a single dad. Eric was a single dad to this incredible human being whose name is India, and whose mom, her name was Tammy. She was somebody who, she lived in Wisconsin, and she was just this beautiful light of a young lady who was way too sweet and nice for me and my thinly veiled, conceited ass back then. Um, but unfortunately, like soon after we had our child, she passed away in a car accident.
Right.
This is going to be the challenge for me not to cry. So now I'm at this point in my life where I am, I went from losing my dad to, oh my God, my dream came true. I got a record deal, to losing the record deal, feeling like, oh, what I've dreamed and wished and hoped for my whole life is so fleeting and can just go away so quickly, to um, I'm a dad now. Oh my God, this is beautiful. I'm so excited to this incredible mother of my child and just beautiful person was taken so soon and so early. And now I'm a single dad. What the fuck is life doing to me right now?
And how old were you at this point? 23?
I was like, when Tammy passed away in that accident, I was 24.
24.
Yeah.
So, okay, now all those elements happen. And part of this, why I'm saying out of the fire, how did you dig deep? What was I kind of know the answer, but I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure about your anchor on, I have to keep going. I have to figure this world out
Mm.
after getting sledgehammered really hard at a very young, that's a very young age to lose. And to have a brand new baby,
Mm.
and to be trying to figure out your career, and to get dropped from a label,
And to be trying to figure out myself.
and figure out yourself, and live in Milwaukee. You were
Yeah.
coming back and forth Milwaukee to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a challenging time. So get back into your head on what was your goal? What was your
Oof.
purpose?
Well,
What was your strength?
well, for those of you out there who have never have yet to be parents, the second you hold that child in your your arms, that becomes your life purpose. You may not be equipped to do it correctly or do it by the book, but when you are holding that child, wow, yeah, I'm really gonna try not to cry in this damn. I hate you, Allison.
No, but
But I'll say this: I remember when Tammy was India's mother's name. I remember when Tammy told me that she was pregnant and it was not planned.
Mhm.
It's crazy how you remember these things. I remember it like it was yesterday, and it's it's it makes sense that through that conversation of, oh my God, this happened, we're so young, my money situation ain't right, I know your money situation ain't right. um, Never once did it enter into the conversation of, are we going to keep this child or not? Like, we just both knew. And I don't say that to try to um, insult or look down upon anyone's decision for any of their own family planning. Some people decide that now is not the time, but for me and for us at that time, I just remember thinking, Dad, 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 I'm Dad, I'm Dad. I lost my dad, but now I'm Dad. And then I just remember feeling this incredible sense of purpose of being born because of this baby that wasn't even born yet. So once you're holding this child, um, everything else becomes secondary. I know that my best chance at creating a life for this child is these talents, for whatever reason God has given me. Like, I never really was taught how to sing or taught how to write music or taught. I just have an ability, and I think I had the discernment at that time to know that it might take a while, but my best shot at giving this baby her best life is, especially once we lost Tammy, was I have to make this happen in the music industry, because growing up in Milwaukee, you just meet so many miserable people who, once again, I feel like I'm shitting on people who might be watching this, but who go to a job that is not their passion or even their occupation. It's just like, I have to get this job because I got to pay these bills. And
well, it sounds like your purpose
yes,
and having
yes.
a purpose. And that's
Hmm.
one thing that so important, that having purpose and why you're doing things. And it's usually not just for yourself. It's usually, like you said, for India,
Hmm.
for your first daughter, because you're a great dad. You have 3 beautiful young
Oh, they
ladies.
are incredible. They
And
are
you're really a
incredible.
great dad. But it really is about purpose. And I think, listening to you, and I actually wasn't even going to bring this up. It just came up naturally. But it really is about what drives you next. Where are you going next? What is your purpose? What is your foundation? And when you have responsibilities very young,
Hmm.
or goals really young, you
Hmm.
figure it out.
Hmm.
You sit down and go, how am I going to make this happen? How am I going to make this work? And it's interesting that, in the music business, I get back to people who are in the industry, and this is not going to be all industry run people, but people think our lives are so easy. People think that artists lie, especially the reason why I work
And they
with
think
artists.
we rich.
Yeah, well,
Bah.
yes. But the reason why I work so hard for artists, because it's probably one of the hardest jobs in the whole wide world. To stay constant, to stay happy, consistent, to people are coming up to you when you've had a bad day and you have
Can't
to
show
keep
it.
going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really part of the story on how we stay resilient. And listening to you just in that in-between stage, and I know that in-between stage, you didn't have any money. You didn't have a record deal. You
Nope.
know, I was in between. I was at RCA at
You
that
were
time.
floating.
I was floating. I was at
I-
RCA, and
I
they
was-
didn't want to sign you.
I was working at UPS, and I was moonlighting at a recording studio in Milwaukee.
Right.
As an assistant engineer, which is a joke.
Right. And then, but one thing about you that I love, you stayed in contact with me. You were like, Alison, I need to get back on. I want to do a solo project. You did a lot of jazz records. You literally sang on every jazz artist record.
Yeah.
So talk about the artists you sang on in that time. It was
Michael Franks,
Najee.
Jeff Lorber, Najee, Dave Koz, all these jazz guys were like, oh, this guy has a great voice.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's funny because you got a jazz, you actually kind of got stuck in that jazz world
did.
for a minute
I
because they
did.
were paying the bills.
They were paying the bills, and it's like when I sing and when I write, I feel like I have jazz sensibilities because I hear jazz chords when I write, and I think that lent to the whole neo soul thing.
Yep.
Because when you think about some of the dopest, well, history lesson. First of all, I've always hated the term neo soul, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
how did that come up anyway, neo soul? Do you know?
some black record executive wanted to label this, in the 80s, and there was a departure from live music with the advent of technology and sequences and drum machines. And so R&B in the 80s was very programmed and very synthesizer, and obviously a lot of it was super dope. Talk about Kashif, talking about Teddy Riley, talking about, that's some super dope sequenced music layered with live. But I think the pendulum in the early 90s started to swing the other way, where it was like people wanted to hear those Rhodes keyboards, and they wanted to hear real horn sections instead of the Juno 60 stabs. And I think that was, and apparently there were like a handful of artists like me, because it was funny, because at that time it was like a handful of us where we were all like, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do that.
It was an era.
It was an era. It was like Maxwell. It was D'Angelo. It was
India
me. It was India Arie.
Erykah Badu. Jill Scott.
It was like, I want to do that real.
It was an era. It was definitely a great era. Yeah.
Yeah. So, how do we get talking about that?
I was talking about the artists how you got into the jazz world.
So it lent itself because just the way I thought musically was so jazz. And when you think about the artists that influenced me, be it Stevie Wonder, be it Marvin Gaye, be it Donny Hathaway, be it Shaka Khan with Rufus, they had a lot of those same jazz voicings of the chords within their brand of R&B. So, yeah, I think it gave birth to this neo soul thing.
And part of I go back to our first record we made. We made with Jeff Lorber.
Right.
And I forgot, Jeff Lorber was known as the king
He
of
was
jazz. He's still the king of jazz. You know what I mean?
He's killing it.
Yeah, he's still doing great. And then we come to, you kind of get grounded. I get to Warner Brothers and
got me a home.
Sign Eric as a solo artist. Actually, let me back up. I'm gonna tell a funny
Second
story.
record deal.
But I'm gonna tell you a funny story. I don't know if you remember this. I was supposed to go work for LaFace Records.
Sure
I was supposed
do.
to be president of LaFace Records.
L.A. Reid wanted you to run his whole shit.
Yeah, they were moving to Atlanta, and I was going to run the L.A. office. And Eric was actually in my contract. Like, you were in my contract for the artist coming with me.
You hear that? That's loyalty.
It was. And then at the last minute, Warner Brothers shows up, and they're paying me double. And I had to go sit with L.A. and Babyface and go, well, I'm not coming to the label. I'm going to Warner Brothers. I don't think I talked to LA I don't think he talked to me for 5 years after that. But he was mad, but he's like one of the best A&R guys in the world. So he was like, go do your thing. I get it. And then we go to Warner Brothers, and I sign you as a solo artist to Warner Brothers, which so exciting. I actually had some power at that point,
Yeah.
or at least I thought I did.
No, you did. It was a time when A, you had power. B, it was a time where the record industry was actually still the record industry. We made records and we sold records. And, right, wrong, or indifferent, the record labels had money to promote artists that they felt like promoting. And, with that first album, I kind of established myself. And
True to myself.
second album, Platinum.
A Day in a
and
Life.
Day in the Life with first #1 hit with Spend My Life with Tamia and Faith Evans, Georgie Porgy. And it really launched my solo career. And it was a time when labels had budgets to promote you overseas.
Exactly.
So it's like, I'm blessed to have been, one of the last Mohicans, not really, but at the end of an era of record companies putting money into promoting you where you are not selling in hopes that you will one day.
Yeah.
And it worked for me because I can still go to Korea. I can still go to France. I can still go to England and Germany, and I can do shows. And
Well, that's where you got the Grammy nominations. And that was a good era for us. It really was a good era. We had
It
a
was great.
lot of great time. And then, things change at record companies. And
Woo!
things change in the business. And another
Napster.
other personal things started happening to you. So
Yeah, I had lots of personal things.
So let's talk about you coming to LA.
Yeah.
Becoming that artist where you're blowing up now.
Yeah.
You're becoming a Grammy nominated artist, and now you're in Hollywood.
I am in Hollywood in the best and the worst possible way. I'm married. I am in a, up until this point, I've always lived in Milwaukee because I just didn't want my daughter or me to. I loved LA, but I was like, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna stay in Milwaukee. But Eric Benét got married.
And I told you not to move to LA.
You did.
I was like, don't do it. Yes,
You did. And I think it was, what was it? It was being in this world of, I never really understood the phrase Tinseltown until I lived here, where what appears to be real is not.
Can I say something to that? Because it's interesting you say that.
Yeah.
Because I'm from here, born and raised.
I was going to clean what I was going to say first.
Okay.
Then you say it. So Tinseltown, the facade of shiny glitz and glimmer, you often find out that what you think is real, including, shit. Anyway, so, but through the process of learning what's real for you, what is authentic for you, you find out, no, there is realness here. There is realness here. It's just you almost have to kind of go through the process of being lost in the fakeness and being partially fake yourself until you realize the truth that maybe you forgot at one time, and then you realize, no, there are some super dope people here. I had to go through my own stupid shit, make my own mistakes, and now LA can be a very real place with very grounded relationships. You lose yourself. I know I did for a minute, and made massive mistakes in the process of that finding myself part.
Well, I think that's profound what you just said, because people come here, think, like you said, it's all glitz and glamour and all that. And you get caught up in this world of, oh, this world is so glitzy and glamoury, and I'm gonna jump in, and I got it under control. And
you really don't.
You really don't. And it's
really
funny.
don't.
I actually put it towards my second marriage, like what I went through. So other people can see it for you, but when you're so close to it, you can't see it all the time. You get caught up. And people who care about you look at you and go, no, this is wrong for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're so caught in it that you can't see it.
100%.
And it's almost like a washing machine. You're going through a washing machine because it's fun at the same time. It seems really cool. And then when you come out on the other side, you're like, oh.
And when you're in that washing machine, for me, I know that when I first moved out here and I was married, and I I I did feel like I got lost in that. There's so much being thrown at you that you're either not emotionally or spiritually prepared for, and you start maybe um the process of discovery is something that is what is that one Roman saying? The road to good intention. What's the phrase? The road to, I'm messing the phrase up, but
Mhm.
the road to good intention is laden with, I'm paraphrasing here, of course, but a lot of fucking up. So
But we all do.
yeah, you find yourself in that until you come out of it, and you're stronger, you're better.
So coming out of it, let's go into that. So coming out of
Ooh,
it.
I like how we maneuvered around all that.
Yeah, coming out of it.
Hmm.
I mean, it was you got a lot of publicity stuff going on. Your daughter was involved in it. You had a
Yeah.
lot of stuff going on. How did you ground yourself to come out of it? Because you did have a lot of eyeballs and people talking about you and
Yeah.
not great things, and a lot of it not true, which I was really mad about
Yeah.
because I was like, that's not true. A lot of that stuff is not true.
Yeah.
And we don't have to get into all the details.
Yeah.
Is
Because I
it
found that even if I address the not true stuff, it just, man, it just like,
brought it all back.
it just puts it back up into the ethos, and then it's like it's an invitation to, hey, let's make every conversation about whenever you sit down and talk to somebody. Now we're gonna have to talk about that now. So
Right,
it's
and
like,
making jokes and
yeah,
doing all that kind of stuff. Um,
I
how
can
did
take the jokes.
how did you ground yourself? What did you do? Like, so after that, did you go back to Milwaukee? You stayed in
I
LA?
stayed in LA, and I
Yeah.
think the first thing you got to do is like take accountability for how you fucked up,
Yep.
and you have to pause. You have to take a little time to be like, okay, wow, I really fucked up. Like, let me take a moment. Thank God for my family, because my family would be like, yeah, nigga, you fucked up.
I love
And
your family.
yeah, and it's like, all right, let me just take a little time here to really, really understand, how is it that I made such huge mistakes? What is it about me? What is it that was lacking in me? What is it that I was yearning for, looking for? What is it that I ignored? And you go on you go on like a soul quest for
Can
a
I
little while.
can I ask you a question, a
Yeah.
personal question? Did you
Hmm.
go to therapy?
I did.
Awesome.
And therapy was a huge, huge part of that.
Well, I bring up therapy because that's another thing, a part of the show that I really want to bring up. Like I'm always in therapy. I've been in
Hmm.
therapy my whole life. My mom was a therapist. Remember that?
Absolutely.
And therapy, I think, is so important for people, everybody. And if you can't afford therapy, then part of the show is about how do you help people? So people know that they're not the only ones who make mistakes and they go through very challenging times.
Amen.
And if you can't afford a therapist, you have a support system that you can talk to that helps you, because when you don't have that support system, then you're lost in your own thoughts and
And you
head.
feel as though everything that happened to you, or everything that you did, is because you're a bad person, or your brain starts telling you all kinds of
Right.
shit. And yeah, what therapy will do is give you a bird's eye view to your life, and give you a deeper understanding of your journey, how to maneuver through some of the challenges of your life. I mean, I think all of us, we have like, we're kind of like preset with these challenges, either emotionally or mentally or spiritually. It could be anything from ADHD to, you may have a proclivity to do something, or you may have a learning disability. You may, um, everybody's preset with some kind of gift, with gifts and flaws.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. So, what did you have to let go of the old Eric to move into the new Eric? Like at that pivotal part of, okay, the Warner Brother days, now you're a single father raising your daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and you're rebuilding. What did you have to let go of? What was the thing that you said, I'm done with that part of me and I'm growing here?
Mm-hmm. Um, you know, this is gonna sound probably a little schmaltzy, but I think there was always an imposter syndrome
Hmm.
in me where I
Huh?
felt like some of these incredible things that are happening to me in my life, I don't deserve it. And um, I really had to, because if, even if you don't, sometimes you subconsciously believe that without consciously acknowledging it. And that's where fucked up shit starts happening, right? So I think for me, I had to realize that, yes, I'm flawed, but the abundance that I'm welcoming into my life, that God is bringing into my life, I deserve it. And I deserve to reflect it to other people,
Mm-hmm.
to inspire them and to show them that, through somebody who is as flawed as me, you can obtain your dreams. Um, it comes down to, I think that was probably one of the first steps. Like, you know what? Um, I deserve this.
That's beautiful because I really believe, and this is another thing I get back to out of the fire, is looking in the mirror and knowing that, do you want to be happy? What is
Mm-hmm.
happiness for you? So happiness for all of us is completely different.
Absolutely.
My happiness and your happiness and everybody else's happiness, but we deserve happiness.
You
And
forget that sometimes.
this is my belief. My belief is we are born here to learn how to make ourselves happy.
Mm-hmm. And we exhaust every possibility before we realize, oh, that don't do it.
Right. And with health
Yeah.
and being happy are the two most important things.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, like breathing every day, the two most important things is your health and happiness. With health and happiness, you can cure all problems. They're not problems, they're obstacles that you have to get through
Yeah.
to figure out what works for you
Yeah. And how to become a better version of yourself through
every
this
day.
challenge. Okay, what am I going to take from this challenge now? Ooh, and I know my limitations. I know this and this and this aspect of this is going to be especially challenging for me. But once I
Mm-hmm.
once I once I overcome this, uh man, I'm gonna be an even stronger beast than I was before. So yeah.
Well, one thing that I can say, because we're so close, is that I think, I'll just give you my opinion of you. You go through quiet times where you get quiet. And I know
Mm-hmm.
you're working on yourself. I know you are.
Yeah.
I'm figuring out what's next for me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
figuring out what makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is we both always say we're too nice. Like we're one of
We really, really have
we're
been
in the
guilty of
business
that
where
one.
we're
Yeah.
just too nice to people because
Yeah.
we just let people I won't say run over us, but we allow a lot of things.
It's not in our nature to be ruthless.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, to be a successful, and in the conventional sense of making a lot of money,
Hmm.
successful business person, there is a salt bay. You have to sprinkle in some ruthlessness in there. You have to, ruthlessness in the sense of, I don't mean to hurt anybody. Ruthlessness in the sense of, I cannot allow your emotions to affect what is the best decision right now,
Right.
which is hard.
It's hard. It's super hard, especially when you care about people.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna switch reels. What took you so long to put a record out? So you hadn't put a record out in, I think, until we got back together, 8 years, 10 years. I don't know, what was it, 8 years?
Mm-hmm.
And why? Why did it take you so long to figure out where you wanted to? Why were you away from the music?
I think it's a couple different reasons. One was I knew that, um, going back to what we said before, because I've been able to establish myself in the industry, I'm blessed and fortunate enough to be able to tour
Right.
and do shows without a new record.
Right.
I've written songs and thanks to the promotional teams and the labels that I've been associated with, I've had a few #1 songs. So and my new wife, we have 2 incredibly brilliant, beautiful little girls.
Mhm.
And so there was a desire for me knowing that, man, if I go in and I do a new album, not only will I be out on the road doing shows, to just keep the lights on, but there's a whole nother promotion machine that goes, and not to mention just being in the studio all the time until it's right, aspect of releasing a new project. And my girls, were really super young. And I think I just decided, I'll go back in maybe when they're 5 or 6. It ended up being when they were like, I don't know, how old were they? Like,
10,
yeah,
12.
it ended
Were
up
you
being a
afraid
little
of
longer.
anything? Sonically, musically, where to jump back in?
Yeah. And the other thing was that little second guessing thing that happens in your heart and in your brain, where I, this is going to sound. I was kind of thinking, man, if that's what they're loving right now, how are they going to like my shit? There was a little bit of that too. So there was a little bit of, who's going to care about a 50-something-year-old R&B dude putting out stuff that, for the most part, feels like late 90s R&B?
Well, one thing I would say to you, and this is what I love most when I go on the road with you, is your vocal ability. I don't think anybody can outsing you.
Well, I
One.
don't know about that.
I don't know anybody that can outsing you. That's how I feel. But also, I think when kids see you now, and we'll
That
get
feels
into,
good.
yeah, they're like, I didn't know he can sing that way. And now you have this all new celebrity thing going on with social media, with TikTok and Instagram. And I mean, for a man of our era to jump in and figure this game out, like, no one told you to do it. You did it on your own. And it's funny because people didn't even know this was your personality. Like, I know you, like right now, it is really hard for me not to be cracking up with you laughing. I'm trying to be all serious and everything.
The funny part about that is, like, you have you have always known my crazy ass. But I remember Karen Lee. I don't- I think it was Karen. Don't get mad at me if it wasn't you that said this. But when I got my deal at Warner Brothers, like, you and a couple other people got a sense of how much of a nut I was. And if you look back to the pictures of Eric Benet back then, it was sexy, suave, like uh, Rico Suave looking black dude. I remember Karen Lee pulling me aside. Karen Lee was like head of publicity,
Yes.
PR. She was like, yeah, I love your goofiness and your weirdness, but you got to tone that down when you're in public.
Right.
And part of the, you got to remember, at this time I was single dad, and I'm thinking, oh, I got to make sure, like, this whole solo artist thing works. So if they say I got to tone that down publicly, I'm going to tone it down. But, I guess social media, I don't give a fuck no more.
You're
And
good, dude.
and I'm just, and the thing about it is, I don't even really give it thought.
It just
Whenever I
comes
do
out.
it, I'm just like, I'll have some little electrical garbage in my brain of a thought, and I'll just be like, hey, guess what? So, and I think the authenticity of that
Mm-hmm.
is what's attractive. So
Well, I think it's your true personality coming out.
it's
That
true.
everybody who really knows you, like all the producers, everybody we work with, they're like, that's the real Eric. Like they're just now learning the real Eric. And it's so resonating right now because kids come up to me all the time and go, oh my God, I saw his McDonald's thing. I saw when he was doing this. I saw what he was doing. And it's so funny to them.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's the novelty of it too, because I think maybe some people may have thought I was one way.
well,
Like
you're a Rico Suave,
Rico
ladies
Suave,
man.
incense in my mouth, barefoot dude, which that's kind of me too, kind of.
Yes, yes.
But I'm more so,
The Milwaukee
the
nerd.
straight up Milwaukee
nerd.
nerd slash whatever the hell I
But
am.
also on social media, now you've really jumped into the political world. And it's crazy because, me and your manager were like, oh, don't go there, just because, it's just a
Well,
slippery
that's
slope.
been the conventional knowledge.
Yes.
I mean, in the you don't want to isolate. Hey, there may be some MAGA Trumpers that like sultry soul music, and not a lot of them probably, but maybe there's some of them, right?
Right.
And you don't want to isolate those people. But then you get to a point in your life where I don't give a fuck who doesn't like what I say, because we have crossed the lexicon now between politics and just shit, human rights.
Yes.
And so I think anybody who has a passionate thought about love and uplifting humanity and giving basic human rights to people, not just in our country, but in the world. I think if that is echoing somewhere in your heart, then speak and say it. At least say that. At least say, when you know that somebody, some person who's holding some public office or some politician, when you, like apparently half of us in this country have the discernment to be like, that motherfucker's full of shit right there. I can see he's lying. You don't see he's lying? Look, he's lying. But then there's this other half of the country. No, he's not lying. He's telling it like it is. I think it's our duty to call bullshit on bullshit, because I think our way of life depends on it.
Wow. I'm proud of you because I literally was worried about it, but I it's actually woke me up to go, somebody has to stand up. Somebody has to say what they feel. And you and I personally have been through a lot in the last few months. Our company, we have an independent label.
Yeah, we own a record label.
Yes, we do.
Which in 2026 means about as much as a bus pass. But
we have our own record label,
Right.
and we've had our challenges. We've also had some really great moments together. You've had a couple number ones on it. We're breaking.
That's nothing to poo-poo about.
Yeah.
We were competing out there with you. You the CEO. Who was we competing with?
We were competing with RCA, Warner.
But artists
yeah.
at the time when my song was out there with Ken Wilson. What's up, Ken?
Kendrick Lamar,
What?
October London, Coco Jones.
What? Wasn't there a Chris Brown track?
Chris
out there?
Brown. Eric
What?
was number 3 most played record. And he's been away for 10 years. So we did something incredible. We had 2 number ones. We had 3 top 10s.
My old ass.
We broke one of our other artists, Joe Leone, who had a top 10 record. He also had a number 1 record he co-wrote with Jay Brown.
Talented guy, Joe Leone.
Autumn Page, and we're developing artists. But I just found out, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this yet, but Billboard is putting us in as one of the up-and-coming new indie labels to watch.
What?
So we've done a great job. This is all your creation.
This is not all my creation. This is our creation.
Our creation,
We
yes.
did, wow, best indie label.
Yes, one of the best indie labels.
Did you
that's
hear
come out.
that?
And, for us, it has been, you and I have the same thing. We might not agree on everything, but hit records cure problems.
Ain't that the truth?
And if you got a hit, you figure everything else out. And, running a company, even for me, I became CEO. You were CEO, and then he got demoted, and I became CEO.
That was funny.
But it's the hardest job in the world.
Yeah, it's a job that
hard job.
I know my strengths. I know my limitations. And yeah, I am a bird's eye view creative person.
It's been a hard job, and having investors, you know, figuring out the money situation. How many, one thing I love just making records going in. I don't want to worry about no money. I just want to do the damn thing and have fun.
Yeah.
But being a CEO is way more than that.
Oh my God.
And we had to learn the hard way, and we've done a really great job. We
I'll
really
say.
have. I'm very proud of us.
Yeah.
But the business is changing. And you and I are watching the business change drastically.
Yeah.
Are you
It's
worried about anything with the
no,
business changing?
no, no. I think, well, I think I am worried. I don't think I'm worried. I think you just, as always, since the beginning of business, you just need to have a hypervigilant sense of what's next. You know, you have to always be thinking, okay, where's this going to be 5 years from now? Let me start making plans for that right now.
Right.
And I think, like I said, I have kind of like that bird's eye perspective of that mixed in with this creative thing that I have, where as long as I got somebody like you who can handle the granular minutia of the details, which I am not good at such things, um, I'm not worried. I'm not worried because, there's always some version of AI.
Yeah.
There's always some version
Yes.
of, hey, we're not making movies in color anymore. They're going to be black and white. What? When the black and white movies, when the color film came out in the movie theaters, there were the purists who were like, this isn't real movies. It needs to be black and white in order, and then there are we went from vinyl to cassette tapes. We went from 8-track tapes to CDs. And I remember when the CDs came out, you and I remember that. It's like, it just doesn't feel as warm as like vinyl, which is kind of true. But
Right.
at the same time, the industry just evolved. So here we are with AI. And I don't believe that AI will replace what it is that I do.
I agree.
I believe that there is a human element that of beautiful imperfections and beautifully flawed and introspective emotion that artificial intelligence will never be able to duplicate. It will emulate it. It will have its own version of it. I mean, people are always sending me these soul created AI songs, and are they technically good? Yes, but it's missing something.
Right.
It's missing human. And it's obvious to me when I listen to it. It's like, oh, there's another AI joint. Oh
Right.
yeah. So I'm not worried. I'm excited. I'm excited because it makes what I have that much more rare. Like when I go, it just happened when I go into the studio with some of these young producers. The first thing I do is I'm like, can you please fucking turn that fucking auto tune off? And then some of the young producers will be like, I'm still tripping on the fact that you laying this vocal down with no auto tune, because it's a matter of course now. Like if you go into a vocal booth, the auto, okay, what key is the
That's
song
a big
in?
thing. We
Okay,
go in
yeah.
and all these producers don't know what to do with you or Joe. They're like, turn the auto tune off. You're like, wait, what?
Turn it
Like,
off? What?
yes, but
Yeah.
it's really, you're right. I think AI is a tool.
It's an incredible tool.
Yeah, it's an incredible tool. I don't think it's going to replace amazing artists. I do think artists with AI and all that are coming out, and there's a thing about it. I think you're right. I think it's going to make real artistry rise. Cream
Yeah.
rises up,
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So if you could go back and tell your younger self something now,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give your younger self just starting out in the business?
I would probably tell myself like this AARP Eric Benet right now. We'll go back to the 20-year-old Eric Benet. I would probably say it's not all going to happen the way you want it to happen or when you want it to happen, but your dreams will come true, and your dreams will be the catalyst for other people to make their dreams come true. So be happy about that
Awesome.
and go practice.
Awesome. Go practice.
Go practice.
And get in the studio more.
Get in the studio
and write more songs.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I really want to talk to you about is what's next for you in your career.
Yeah.
You've had this amazing career.
Yeah.
We own a record company. You've got your TikTok stuff on point. We have new album coming, a new solo record coming out. Ooh, I can't wait. And but what else creatively? What else are you working on that really you're excited about?
Well, I've always had this overstimulated creative thing, which I guess I found out later in life that it's ADHD or something. Shit, whatever.
Who told you that?
Yes. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I've always had this creativity where it can actually be distracting. You know, like I've always had characters and scenarios and narratives and stories along with the music. It's a lot shit, like distracting shit going on in this crazy brain. And one of my favorite times of being a dad was story time. You know, getting the girls in bed and just off the dome coming up with a story that would quiet them down, because any parent knows I don't know what it is about bath time, but it makes them want to like bounce off the ceilings and dive and start fighting and throwing shit. So I've gotten really good at just coming up with stories. And there was one particular story where I just started thinking about this dog that I had when I was 13. He was a Saint Bernard mixed with a German Shepherd, and the story just came out. And it was a story about a boy and his dog, and he's visited by these beings from outer space, and they give him a dog collar that gives the dog superpowers. Anyway, my daughters at the time, they were like maybe 4 and 7. They fell in love with the story, and then it became like this episodic thing. I told a story, like a new episode every night, and they loved it so much that way back then I started writing down chapters. I got about 6 chapters before life got busy again, and I looked up and I realized that they were now like 11 and 14, or at the time they were like 10 and 13. I was like, damn, I never finished that book. So about a year and some change ago, I decided that I would finish a version of that story for a 4 and a 7-year-old, but I would elevate it to something that a 13, 14, 15-year-old could find not only truth, but direction and purpose and some emotional weight in it. And so I wrote this book.
And what's the name of the book?
The name of the book is The Awesome Adventures of Buck and Alfred. And it is, here's the thing about the book that I don't want kids to know. It's really a self-help book, how to deal with your trauma, how to process it, how to process loss, how to deal with the limitations that you have within yourself and find purpose in those limitations and power with your inner voice. And I don't want it to come off that deep to them. I just want them to have fun on the whole fantastical fantasy ride. But yeah, I'm super, super excited about that right now. And I finished the manuscript recently, and I'm actually talking to some people about getting it published. So
that's amazing. Well, one thing I love is that what you said is self-help. Because I think we're in the era of people realizing that it is about self-help. And it's always about working on yourself, especially as kids. A lot of grown people, you know how they say hurt people, because young kids don't get help. They don't get help early on.
Yeah, they don't. I feel as though if I had, as I was writing the book, I was thinking, Wow, I would really be remiss if I didn't at least try to put an emotional compass
Right.
in this book, because you know, I'm very blessed to have the siblings and the family life that I did, but they're, obviously in retrospect, I wish I could have dealt with some of my trauma, some of what was missing in my soul a little differently.
Well, it sounds like it's coming full circle through the book.
Yeah, I like to think so.
Everything you just talked about, from your losing your father and the loss of Tammy, to figuring out who you are as a person, it all comes full circle with you writing this book,
Yeah,
and really about wanting children to have a vehicle of, I'm not alone, that
yeah,
I'm not the only one going through this,
right.
and that
Because that's what it feels like.
and that's what it feels like. And that is, I think that's where we're in the world we're going, where people are figuring out, like, oh, I'm not the only one traumatized,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna seek help. And I'm gonna seek people that can help me get there.
And
And
unfortunately, we just don't reach out, especially I feel like especially black men.
mm-hmm.
Like, we keep it all in, we hold it all in, and then it comes out in crazy
Yeah,
ways sometimes.
yeah. Well, I'm super excited about the book. Super excited about our company. So many things that we're doing. I'm excited about your new record. Um, and the thing of it is, for us, I think you and I, why we resonate so well together. We're super creative, and we're always trying to help other people. And that's why we
Always,
started the record company. You started the
always.
record company. It was your idea first. You started so we could help other
Yeah, but
artists.
I knew I couldn't run it.
Exactly. And
Right,
then you convinced me to get back in.
right.
But it really is about nurturing young artists and trying to teach them how to be successful, but also make money and also be super creative.
Absolutely.
And I think even with all of us, we're all creative beings. Like, we all have all these different projects. Like, I have my podcast. You're going to have your podcast. But it is about being creative and nurturing that creativity and learning how to be successful as creative people.
Absolutely.
And I super thank you for coming to do my
You know what?
podcast.
I'm gonna do this because um
What are you doing?
I'm gonna
You're gonna pay me?
pay you because you were really well behaved today, and
Thank
you
you.
gave me
I wish you buy
compliments.
me.
You keep that $5. Go buy
I'm gonna
yourself
keep
something
that
nice.
$5.
Right.
Wait, where's my purse? You owe me a purse. What you talk about?
I took $100 out of her purse. That's
You
why I
owe
gave
me
her
a
the five.
purse. What did we talk about when we went number one?
Oh yeah.
We went number one twice, and I still don't have my purse. You're in trouble, man.
I'll go to
No.
I'll go
No.
to
There's only one place.
H&M and get you a nice
No.
purse.
There's only one place. But no, I really want to. Hope you come back and hang out with me. And honestly, I learned a lot. I learned a lot from you today, just talking about your past, and especially your father's stuff that I didn't really
Yeah.
understand and know.
Yeah.
But the thing of it
My
is,
father's really in the book too.
oh,
He's
awesome.
really in the book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I think what out of the fire for me is, this podcast for me is really to get people to understand that we all go through our tough times, no matter who you are.
Right.
No matter how rich you are, how poor you are, what your background is, we all go through our challenges.
Yep.
And the challenges what makes us strong. And sometimes you have to go through the fire to really, really know who you are and how you resonate and how you come out stronger. And I will be going through my own, when I do these segments by myself, I will be going through my own personal stuff that I've been through that's been very difficult, which you know a lot about.
Yeah.
And how you have to be around people that love you. You have to work on yourself constantly.
Yes.
You have to have purpose.
Yep.
But the most important thing, if you have your health and happiness, and be clear at what you want and clear about being happy. So for you, just one last question is, what do you want next in your life? Like the next chapter, we have a few centuries left.
I think so.
um, what would fulfill you the most?
To be completely surprised with what my creativity can do. Like, I don't want to name it. I want to be like, Well, at the moment, I'm really excited about what we're creating, the music we're creating, my book. But 2, 3 years from now, I want to be presented with something that I couldn't even name right now, where it's like, how the fuck am I going to do that? And then kill it
That's awesome.
with um, a lot of creativity and some good people doing it with me.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
All right. Well, thank you for being on Out of the Fire. You're going to come back.
Through the fire, through the
Let's
out
go.
of the
Let's go.
fire, through the limit. Mhm.
Thanks for tuning in to Out of the Fire with Alison Ball. Please don't forget like, share, and listen to where all podcasts are.
I want that 20 back.
Wait, what am I saying? No, I'm keeping the 20. No.
Damn.
Like, comment, and subscribe to Out of the Fire with Alison Ball.